Alright, so we're going to take a look inside another one of these Warhammer Commander decks. I checked out the Forces of the Imperium one. It was pretty cool. And just like that one, for this one, I haven't seen the majority of the new cards, so I'm going to see them basically for the first time now and do my best to evaluate them. I know this time to open it from the bottom, so let's open this up. And also, if you'd like to purchase any of the cards you see in this video, you can get those by going to the sponsor of this channel, Face to Face Games, and if you use code 8th Place Save at the checkout, you can save 5% on your order. Alright, so here's what we've got inside. We've got the deck, life counter, some documentation, deck box, and these things, which they could be useful. So this one is Teamer colors. That's interesting. As I was saying before, I'm a fan of Warhammer as a whole, but I'm much more familiar with Fantasy Warhammer. Okay, that was more difficult than it needed to be. Let's take a look at this. The Swarm Lord. 6 mana, 5/5, legendary creature Tyranid. Rapid regeneration. It enters the battlefield with 2 1/1 counters on it for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this time. That's kind of cool. So, like, each one of the commander attacks you pay is basically putting a 1/1 counter on it. Whenever a creature you control with a counter on it dies, draw a card. So I guess this will probably be all about counter synergy. Seems pretty good. We've seen cards like this that care about cards having counters on them. I'm not sure if this is the best one like that, but it does seem like a pretty decent commander. That was the secondary commander, Magus Lucia Kane. 4 mana 1/1. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put a 1/1 counter on a creature. Or tap, add 2 colorless. When you next cast a spell with X in its mana cost or activate an ability with X in its activation cost, copy that spell. They're pretty different, actually. Although, this one does put counters on stuff. This cares about things with counters on it, but the whole X in its cost thing, that could be interesting. That one is a little bit more interesting to me. I might play this as the face commander, but we'll see what else is in it. Gene Stealer Locus. 4 mana 3/3. Whenever a creature attacks you, it gets -1/1, so whenever a creature attacks, one of your opponents gets +0/+1. Not bad. This is one that I might end up cutting if I were to make any changes. I probably won't, though. Probably just keep all these decks together. Acolyte Hybrid, 2 mana 3 mana 2/2. When it attacks, destroy up to 1 artifact. If an artifact is destroyed this way, its controller draws a card. I thought it was going to say you draw a card. It's another one that I might cut. It's, it's repeatable artifact removal, but they get to draw a card and it has to attack before it can do anything. It's a little bit weak. Aberrant. X1 green, 0/0. It has Ravenous. It enters with, It enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it. X 5 or more, draw a card. Trample. When it deals combat damage to a player, destroy an artifact or enchantment that player controls. Okay, so this one kind of seems better than this one already to me because it has trample, so it's... Well, this one only has to attack though, right? When it attacks, yeah. Pure Strain Gene Stealer, 1 mana, 3 mana 1/1. Comes into play with 2 1/1 counters on it, so it's basically 3 mana 3/3. When it attacks, you can remove a 1/1 counter on it. If you do, search your life for a basic and put it on the battlefield, tap and shuffle. That's kind of cool. I like this card. This one seems good. Because, this can get you 2 basics, but if you can put more counters on it, you can just keep on getting basics whenever you attack with this. It's pretty neat. Tyranid Invasion, 4 mana sorcery. Create a number of 3/3 green Tyranid warrior creature tokens with trample equal to the number of opponents you have. So this is basically 9 power and toughness for 4 mana, which is good, but the tokens don't really do anything. Well, they have trample, but still, not really sold on that one. Trigon Prime, 4 mana 4/4. When it attacks, put a 1/1 counter on it and a 1/1 counter on up to 1 other target attacking creature. That creature can't be blocked this turn. That's kind of cool. I like that it makes the other creature unable to be blocked. Not terrible. Venom Thrope, 3 mana 2/2 flying, Death Touch Hexproof. I guess this is the one that you want to put counters on because it has evasion and hexproof. I feel like that's probably why it's in the deck. But yeah, definitely a good target to put stuff on. Goliath Truck, 4 mana 4/4, crew 2. When it attacks, put 2/1/1 counters on another target attacking creature. It's not bad. Maybe on that one, but it's another one that there's kind of a lot of cards in here. Well, basically, I guess we're looking at the uncommons to begin with, so I'm seeing a lot of ones that I probably would cut if I were to upgrade this deck. Ether Eyes, okay, so we got some reprints here. Ether Eyes, good. Spiring Call, good. Bread for the Hunt, what does this one do? Pretty good. Hull Breach, yep. Herald's Horn, that's a pretty great reprint. This art is interesting, but I kind of prefer the other art. Just the regular one. There's a Soul Ring, Ash Barrens, Frontier Bivouac, Unclaimed Territory, Cultivate. It's kind of neat. Explore, Farseek. Farseek with a motorcycle on it. That's kind of cool, actually. Harrow, New Horizons, Overgrowth, lots of Rampant Growth, Arcane Signet. That's a cool Arcane Signet, actually. Cave of Temptation. Is that a reprint? It must be. Command Tower. Evolving Wilds. Okay, so we got some new rares here. Let's take a look at these. Gene Stealer Patriarch, 5 mana 4/4. When it attacks, put an infection counter on a creature defending player controls. Whenever a creature with an infection counter on it dies, you create a token. It's a copy of it, except it's a Tyranid. That's pretty cool, actually. I do like this one. Pretty powerful. Exocrine? I don't know. X2 red. 2/2 has the Ravenous ability once again. When it enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to each creature, each player, and to each other creature. I like this one, actually, because it's basically a Wrath, a red Wrath, but it survives by itself. It can be nice and big, can burn your opponents out with it. I do like this one. The Red Terror. 4 mana 4/3. Whenever a red source you control deals damage to one or more permanents. Deals damage to one or more permanents and or players, okay? Put a 1/1 counter on this. Okay, so that can get big really fast. This is one that you want to give trample for sure. Yeah, you need a way to give this evasion to make it good, I feel, but that's not so hard to do. Screamer Killer. 4 mana, 5 mana, 5/5 trample. Whenever you cast a creature spell with mana value 5 or greater, deals 5 damage to any target. That's pretty cool. Some pretty good repeatable removal there. Any target. Once again, you can burn your opponents out. Biophagus. 2 mana, 1/3. Tap, add 1 of any color. If it's spent to cast a creature, that creature enters with an additional 1/1 counter on it. That's pretty good, actually. Yeah, it's a good, good mana dork there. Bone Sabers, 3 mana equipment. When equipped creature attacks, put 4 1/1 counters on it. Wow. That's pretty good. It's kind of a high equip cost, 3 and 3, so you're paying 6 mana, but that's a powerful effect. Broodlord, X3 green, 3/3 Ravenous. When it enters the battlefield, distribute X 1/1 counters among any number of other target creatures you control, so you can make all your other stuff big. Kind of good, but you'd have to pay a lot into X to make it that good, but who knows. Seems okay. Calamavus. 5 mana 3/3. Each creature you control gets +1/+1 for each +1/+1 counter on it. That's cool. So it kind of doubles the, it's not really doubling your counters, but it's doubling the bonus they get from them. Haruspex. 4 mana 2/2. Whenever another creature dies, put a 1/1 counter on it. Tap, remove X 1/1 counters from it, add X mana of any one color. I feel like there's some kind of weird thing you can do to kind of break this. Probably some kind of combo. Hierophant Biotitan, that's a big one. 12 mana, 12/12. As an additional cost to cast it, you can remove any number of 1/1 counters from among creatures you control. It costs 2 less for each counter removed. Vigilance, Reach, Ward 2. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Okay. Seems pretty good. You know, big fatty. It has a... It doesn't have evasion, actually. Vigilance, Reach. It's just sticky, I guess. It blocks really well. The Ward 2 is relevant, but, you know, by the time you cast this, probably your opponent will have 2 extra mana for the removal spell. Once again, it really needs Trample or something, but this one is pretty interesting. I wonder how fast you could cast that. I feel like there's probably a way you can get that on, like, turn 3. Need some pretty big ramp and stuff, but I'm sure it's possible. Hormagaunt Horn. X green, 1/1 with Ravenous. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under control, you pay 2 and a green. If you do, return that from a graveyard to your hand. That's pretty cool. Graveyard recursion there. Lictor. So that's what it did, huh? 4 mana, 3/3 flash. When it enters the battlefield, if a creature enters the battlefield under opponent's control this turn, create a 3/3 Tyranid with Trample. So it's kind of like, you know, 6 power and toughness for 4 mana with flash. That's still not that good, though. Not really sold on this one. 2 mana, 2/2 for Nexos here. Basic lands you control have tap, add 2 colorless. Spend this mana only on costs that contain X. That's really good for the X, you know, the X spell synergy. Yeah, it's a pretty powerful one in the right deck, namely this deck. Old One Eye. So we got Old One Eye, and there's also Old Gnawbone. I wonder how long before you can make an all old stuff deck. Old Stick Fingers. 6 mana, 6/6 trample. Other creature you control of trample. When it enters the battlefield, make it 5/5 Tyranid. Okay, that's a lot better than the 4 mana 3/3 that makes it 3/3. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you can discard 2 cards. If you do, return this from your graveyard to your hand. This one seems pretty good because, you know, it allows you to pitch things from your hand to your graveyard that maybe you want in your graveyard. And the rate on this is quite good. Yeah, this is a good one. Sporocyst, XX green, Ravenous, Defender. When it is battlefield, search your library for X basic lands, put them on the battlefield, tap and shuffle. So, for 3 mana, you get a 1/1 that ramps you by 1, but for 5 mana, you get a 2/2 that ramps you by 2, which is pretty good. For 7, you get 3 for up to... Okay, so it is basics. But it's pretty good, though, because it scales nicely. Termagant Swarm, X green, Ravenous. When it dies, make a number of 1/1 green Tyranid creatures equal to its power. Yeah, nice one that replaces itself. It's pretty good. Tervagon, X1 green, Ravenous, Trample. When it deals combat damage to a player, create that and many 1/1 Tyranids. That's pretty cool. Yeah, there's another strong one. I was expecting it to say make a 1/1, but yeah, you can make a lot of things with that. Toxicrene, 4 mana, 2/4 Reach, Death Touch. All lands have tap, add 1 mana of any color, and lose all other abilities. Okay. Some good land hate there. I feel like this is probably going to be a popular one. A lot of these have already become popular at this point. Like, these decks have been out for a little while. A little while being like 2 weeks or whatever, but... you know, people have played with them enough to know kind of what's going to catch on. Tyrant Guard, X2 green, 3/3 Ravenous. Sack it. Creatures you control with counters on them gain hexproof and indestructible till end of turn. Yeah, that's a nice protection card there. It's pretty good. I feel like this one can do work. Atalon Jackal. 3 mana, 2/2 Trample Haste. When it deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a basic, put it on the battlefield, tap and shuffle. I like this one a lot, actually. Because it's cheap, it's 3 mana. It has Trample, so it'll help to trigger the thing, but it has haste. The thing I like about it most is that it has haste. So, yeah. I'm a big fan of this one. This is one that I would put in other decks that I have if I were to get extra copies of this. Death Leaper, Terror Weapon, another legendary here. Flash Haste, so it's a 3/3 for 4. Creatures you control enter the battlefield this turn have double strike. So this is good for things that have haste, I guess. It's pretty good actually though. Yeah. Gives itself double strike when it comes into play. First Tyrannic War, 5 mana. Saga, you can put a creature from your hand on the battlefield. If its cost contains X, enters the battlefield with the number of 1/1 counters on it equal to the number of lands you control. Wow, that's powerful. Double the number of each kind of counter on target creature you control. Yeah, this is a powerful card. This is another one that I could see going in other decks. Gargoyle Flock. That just sounds like a magic card, not a Warhammer magic card. 2/2 for 4 flying. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature enters the battlefield under your control this turn, make a 1/1 blue Tyranid Gargoyle creature with flying. It's okay. Like, it basically comes with one itself, but at the beginning of... Yeah, it's only on your end step, so you get a 1/1 flying each turn, which is okay for 4 mana. Not too, not too high on this one. Gearson Starn, Kellermorph. A legendary 3 mana 3/2 with Ward 2. Whenever another source you control deals exactly 1 damage to a permanent or player, this does 2 damage to that permanent or player. That's kind of cool. This is a cool build around Commander. Yeah, that one's pretty interesting to me. I would be interested in making just an entirely different Commander deck around this. Melanthrope, 3 mana 2/2 flash. When it enters the battlefield, exile target player's graveyard. No, it doesn't have flash, it has flying. Put a 1/1 counter on that for each creature card exiled this way. That could... that's some good graveyard hate right there. Make that super big. I imagine, what if you traumatize someone and then you play this? That could be cool. Moloch, X red-green, 2/2 with Ravenous. When it enters the battlefield, it fights up to 1 creature an opponent controls. If that creature would die, exile it instead. So it's basically just a removal spell on a creature, but those tend to be good. Scale as well. Ravener, X blue-green, flash, Ravenous. When it enters the battlefield, target creature attacks target opponent this turn if able. Has flash. Target creature attacks target opponent if able. That's kind of cool. Allows you to do some really fun combat shenanigans. Shadow in the Warp. So this is one that I think has popped off recently. What does it do? 3 mana enchantment. First creature you cast each turn costs 2 less. That's pretty good. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, it does 2 damage to them. So I feel like this is the second thing is good, but to me immediately the first part of this card seems probably what makes it really good. But yeah, I can see why this is a popular card. Tyranid Harridan, 6 mana 4/4 flying, Ward 4. Ward 4 is pretty big. Whenever this or another Tyranid you control deals combat damage to a player, make a 1/1 blue gargoyle creature token with flying. So this one is... I like this one much better than that other one that makes one of these tokens on your end step. This can make a lot more of them, and the Ward 4 is pretty big. I kind of like this one actually. Tyranid Prime, 3 mana 0/4 with Evolve. Haven't seen Evolve in a while. Other creatures you control have Evolve. Okay then, so it's the Evolve Lord. That could be cool though. Kind of like it. Winged Hive Tyrant, 5 mana 4/4 flying haste. Other creatures you control with counters on them have flying and haste. Wow, that is a powerful card right there. You can see this one doing a lot of work. Zoanthrope, X blue red Ravenous flying Ward 2. There's a lot of things with Ward in this deck. When it enters the battlefield, it deals X damage to any target. Okay, so it's like a fireball that comes with a flying Ward 2 thing. That's really good. Starstorm. I think this is a reprint, right? We got more reprints now. Yeah, Abundance. It's cool. Death's Presence. Hardened Scales. Pretty good reprint. Although it just got reprinted in Double Masters 2022 also. Icon of Ancestry. I like this card. Good for tribal decks. Got some lands. Cinderglade, Exotic Orchard, Game Trail, Temple of Abandon, Temple of Epiphany, Temple of Mystery. You got all the temples. Opal Palace, Path of Ancestry, this thing, this thing, this thing, and some basics, I guess. Mountain, Island, Forest. Any cool tokens? Here's a Swarm Lord again. Kind of look neat. Tyranids. We got a lot of them. Holy crap. Gargoyle. Some different Tyranids. Alright, cool. So this deck, so I did actually play some games with the other one, the Forces of the Imperium one, and it seemed good, but the main problem that I had with that deck was it seemed like there were so many 4-drops in it. There, like, you know, it's not really that fun to have a hand with like 5 4-drops in it, because you can play one thing per turn essentially, but this one seems to me like maybe it would be more fun to play because you can really take advantage of the scaling of all your creatures. You can, you know, pay X equals 0 or X equals whatever if you want, you know, make the spells as big as you want. I'd be interested to play some games with this one. This one seems pretty fun to me, and yeah, there were a couple of commanders in here that seemed quite interesting to me, that I would consider building around just on their own. This one, I think this is a cool ability. I can make a fun commander, yeah. So that's going to do it for this one. If you've played this deck, let me know how it plays. Like, it seems kind of cool to me, so hopefully it is as cool as I think it is. Or if you've played with all the decks, let me know which one you think is a favorite, because I do have all 4 of the decks. I just have only opened 2 of them at this point. But anyway, if you're still watching, thanks for watching. It'd be cool if you can like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. I'd encourage everyone to come join my Discord server. You can find a link to that in the video description below. And in the video description, you can also find my affiliate links for Dragon Shield, and in case you'd like to purchase any gaming supplies, you can follow those affiliate links and help out the channel while you do so. And I'd also just like to take a moment to thank all the patrons who support me on Patreon. But otherwise though, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.